you did get to see a lot of aspects of government, for good or bad. You got to kind of see what's happening, because I remember when you were here, we talked about a lot of the businesses that you ran. And I think I mentioned to you, there's only one entity in the world that could let hundreds of millions of dollars go missing. That's like the federal government, where there's no accountability. That wouldn't happen at Tesla or General Motors or anything else. And again, you also saw how politicians kind of, stay in office and keep there. I mean, you have a lot of great knowledge. What perspective can you give us about how government works, or how we can break the cycle as voters and citizens?
Well, again, what fascinates me here in the United States is that so many politicians, and today it's amazing, because politicians are just untruthful. They lie, they exaggerate. Here we have the Washington Post giving politicians 4 Pinocchios, meaning that everything they said was an absolute lie. And people just say, well, that's politics. Now, if that was your brother, your sister, your mother, your best friend, your business partner, you wouldn't accept it. But these are the people that are in control of our lives, and we're saying, that's just politics. But they don't understand what that transponds to. It's your life, it's your livelihood, it's your freedom. So that's what gets me, Brian. And politicians today, so many of them are just so dishonest, and we don't hold them accountable. And that's why I hope the people of London see through what's going on, with the current administration, and they hold them accountable. And it's like anything else, if they're not doing the job, you fire them, you get rid of them, throw them out, and bring somebody in there that's going to work. That's the way you do it. That's the democratic system.
It is. I keep telling people that they can fire our current mayor, Sadiq Khan, on May 6th if they go and vote. And that's their chance. That's the chance to hold them accountable. And you're right. The more I learn about politics, Michael, I got to be honest with you. I didn't know much about it 9 months ago. And I'm honest with people. I didn't vote in the last mayoral election 5 years ago because I just didn't care. And nobody was engaging with me. And so, again, I'm trying to make sure more people care. But the more I learn about politics, the more it makes me sick. I find people that are in this as a career. And what happens right now in London, Michael, is that the current mayor is of the Labour Party, which is more like the Democrats. The prime minister, which is more like the president of the country, is in the Conservatives, which is like the Republicans. So they argue back and forth, right? We saw this happen, I think, last year in American politics, where like a governor would argue with the president. And they go back and forth and blame each other. And then the citizens watch, and then they pay for it the whole time. So it's like, it's his fault, it's his fault, it's his fault, it's his fault.
Exactly.
And then every 4 years they switch places, and then they switch places. And then when you look over 30 years, nothing's really changed. They've both been paid by the public, and Lord knows what else they're doing in the background. And it's like, okay. Meanwhile, teenagers are dying in the streets. People are running, their businesses are going bankrupt here. And there are real implications. So, people, honestly, Michael, they don't know what to make of me. I got the American accent. I'm wearing the English suits. I'm paying for this campaign myself. I've put up outdoor billboards that no mayor has ever done. I got a bus driving around. I got digital ads going places. People are like, what's going on here? But I'm like, look, one thing I can tell you for sure is that running for mayor is the last thing I wanted to do. When I told my wife this, she looked at me and said, why? London Real's never been bigger. Business has never been better. And the world's never needed your voice more than ever. Why go do this thing where you're going to be criticized? And it will be the hardest job I've ever had. Let's be clear. And I just thought, I can't sit by and let this happen. So I'm going all in on it. And my team's been all in. I get really obsessed with stuff, as you might have noticed, Michael. So I just went crazy learning everything about this city. And a few days ago, we dropped this thing I was showing you. It's like 50 pages. It's called a manifesto, and it's got detailed policy down to how I'm going to pay for 10,000 more officers on the street. And I think it shocked people, because some of the other parties drop manifestos and they're like 13 pages. And it's just like, well, that doesn't solve the problem. So I think people are starting to think maybe there's something here. And then they've known me from London Real for 10 years. So we feel like this is a pivotal point. We had some cool newspaper coverage, 2-page spreads, and some of the big papers like the Evening Standard and the Times. So I feel like we're winning the war, but we're also going up against a juggernaut. That is for sure. And a lot of people are conditioned, to vote for these parties. It's almost like families, Michael. I was thinking they're like families, the parties. Mm-hmm. And, the family is a group of individuals that act in a common interest, I think. And I'm going up against like a family that's been around for 100 years. Maybe it's not as powerful as the Gambino family. Maybe it's more powerful than the Gambino family. I don't know. But I can see how you're going up against an organization of individuals, which is stronger than one person. And to break that, your ideas have to be 10 times better, I think. And so that's
well, I can tell you, trust me, government is more powerful than whatever power we had on the street. I can tell you that, Brian, because they can manipulate a lot better than we can. They create the laws, they create the agendas. But, my advice to you over the next 3 weeks, don't sleep. Get out, let people hear you, let them hear your ideas. I would love to see that manifesto. I really would. I'd be really interested in that. So maybe I can get a copy somehow.
Yeah. I'll send you a copy. It's also on our website, brianvermeer.london/manifesto. But yeah, I'll get you a copy for sure. It's something we're really proud of. And I think it's something that shows we're a little different than the rest.